Welcome to Insights. I'm Eric, and today I'm going to do a wheat review, try and help clarify the setup in the wheat market. So open up your matrix or follow along with mine here. For the first thing we do is we establish the phase in column B. That's pretty straightforward. It's R plus 9, so it's 9 days off of reset. And we can see that wheat has been up for 4 months straight in a flip, or 4 months since the flip, produced a 6% return. Is this out of the ordinary? Is wheat not doing well? We can only answer that in terms of like its position inside the trading discipline. So if we look at the daily and weekly and monthly primary trends, we can establish the price cycle and time cycles. And nothing really stands out here in the daily. It's getting a little bit long in the price cycle in the weekly, and the monthly, which is most important. They're two negative numbers, so this trend is quite early in wheat, so it has a lot further to go. So wheat could be a problem on the weekly, but it's not quite extended yet, and the weekly is looking at a long primary downtrend. At least that was the previous position for wheat, so chances are this number is going to get quite extended as the trend flips from down for multiple years potentially to be up multiple years. So I think this is going to be throwing us off. So the question is whether or not wheat is struggling, and the answer probably lies within energy. And the energy setup here is minus 13 and minus 23 on wheat, and that could be a problem. So let's take a look at the temporary tab I created. And the first view we have is the grains DI, which is a composite one for all the grain for the grain market. And we can see that the energy build several months ago flipped these trends, and everything moved, and they all move together. Corn, soybeans, and wheat tend to follow along with one another pretty closely. And now that bullish build has been replaced by a bearish build, and this creates a blocking dome over price because the primary trend is up, and that's probably what's involved with slowing all three of the grain markets down, including wheat. And wheat is probably the more sluggish of the three. So we can establish that energy is a problem, and here's the wheat market DI, and it pretty much mirrors what we see up here. Slightly different numbers, but it's a blocking dome is formed. Most likely this will have to release back to either at least neutral or even closer to bullish before the price has a chance to run. It'll probably create a viable reset of which you can escalate the core position. The Pro and Public Index also provides another layer of information, and we can see that price has been breaking this downtrend upward, and it's been largely driven and supported by professional buying, or the professional index. And what we're hopeful to see, at least the bulls want to see, is price breaking out to another high, and the pro index leading it higher. I mean, that would be professional accumulation, whereas the public is also buying, but it's kind of flat too. But we really don't care what the public's doing. We don't want them to lead the rally. The smart money wants to lead the rally. If the public leads it, that's okay too, but it makes the rally a little bit more vulnerable. In terms of wheat and its reversals that the computer recognizes, if you go into the reversals tab and you find wheat and it selects it, you can see the three different time frames. Red is the price that it's currently trading. Everything above, everything below is support and resistance. I like to focus on the weekly primarily because it produces the most stable reversal zones. It also produces less of them. The monthly produces hardly any. Daily produces a ton, and they're useful, but there's so many of them, it's difficult to know which zone price is breaking through. The weekly is a good balance between the two, and we can see that the overhead reversals are in red and the under ones are in green. Price is attempting to jump the creek because it's jumping over the green and it's establishing them as support. But wheat has a lot of work to do. It has to get through all of these bands up here before it really hits an air pocket. Technically, the distance between here and this first red line is an air pocket, and possibly what's going to happen here is this price will do some sort of releasing of the energy, but once it does that briefly, it's going to accelerate up into this zone here. So I wouldn't be super bearish on wheat at all. I would be realistic in terms of like what information we're seeing. We're going to get a new set of information today on Monday here about how energy is playing into the rally, and we're going to see whether or not the invisible hand is accumulating or distributing. So those are the points that we're looking at in terms of like the evolution of the trade. The evolution of the trade is long core position. It just recently flipped, but because of the energy build, I wouldn't be inclined to chase it at +9 away from the reset. That's too far away at this point. You just hold off. Wait for a more positive energy build, at least neutral or positive. It will generate a yellow highlight over wheat when it does another reset. There's many resets within the composite trend. The primary trend flips up and down very rarely, so does the weekly in comparison, but the daily jumps in and out of alignment. The trick is to filter out which is a viable reset and which is not. And not every yellow highlight is a viable reset. Right now we can see palladium has generated a reset, but we'll leave that discussion for a palladium review. So the play is to watch the energy build and to try and establish if a bullish energy build materializes before a reset. That would be an excellent setup. We'll follow up on and we'll talk about it further when the time comes. So that's pretty much the setup for wheat. So until the next time, good trading.